Have you ever tried to convince a friend, parent, or a sibling of something? You give them reason after reason. You think your argument is flawless, but then they say something that stumps you, and the argument is now over. This is where the counterargument and the rebuttal come into play. To win arguments and persuade people to agree with you, you need to address the counterargument and rebuttal. So, what is a counterargument? A counterargument is the other side of the argument. It's the opposite of your position. Your first few paragraphs are giving reasons on why somebody should agree with your argument. This is where, in the fourth paragraph, you're acknowledging the other side of that argument and providing some evidence. But the big thing here is you cannot agree with the counterargument. That will make your whole argument look weak. Let's look at an example. So here's a thesis statement. Homework should not be banned because it helps students prepare for the next day's lesson, provides practice of a skill, and teaches time management skills. All right, so let's see what a counterargument might be. All right, our counterargument says that some people think that homework takes too much time away from other activities. So here, this person has addressed the other side of the argument, and they've also provided evidence. According to psychologist Stanley Hall, homework interferes with children's natural inclination towards play and free movement. All right, so that is an accurate counterargument. It is something that somebody on the other side might say. Well, what do we do now? How do we make our argument stronger? And that's where we go into the rebuttal. So with the rebuttal, your job is to disprove the counterargument. You need to prove that the counterargument is not as strong as your argument. This is the comeback. You also need to include a transition word like however, but, although, and you're including your third reason from your thesis statement and evidence. All right, so what is this going to look like? So there's that same thesis statement, and now we've got that third reason highlighted, that it teaches time management skills. Okay, our counterargument addresses the other side, that some people think that homework takes too much time away from other activities. So now we need to go into our rebuttal. Here's our rebuttal with that transition word. Although homework can be time consuming, there's our third reason. It teaches students to manage their time, which is an important skill. And now we've got our evidence. According to Andrew Zimmerman, a child psychologist, students who use time scheduling techniques to complete homework are generally more motivated and are higher achievers than those who do not use these processes. So here we've shown that our argument that homework should not be banned is stronger than that counterargument. We've got stronger evidence and a stronger reason, and we can disprove the counterargument. Let's look at another example. All right, here's a new thesis statement. Schools should have uniforms because it saves parents money, creates a feeling of belonging, and reduces disruptions in class due to dress code. All right, now we consider the other side with the counterargument. Critics may say that students should be allowed to wear their own clothing so that they can express themselves. There's our counterargument. Now our evidence. Lynn Angelo, a child development expert, says that uniforms stifle creativity and encourage conformity. That means that uniforms are not allowing students to be creative with what they wear and are making everybody try to look the same. All right, so we've addressed the other side of the argument. Now, how can we rebut this with our rebuttal? Let's see. However, another transition word. Students having their choice of clothing to wear can cause wasted time dealing with dress code issues. There, we've connected our third reason, reduces disruptions in class due to dress code, with our rebuttal, can cause wasted time dealing with dress code issues. Now we need evidence. Uniforms focus attention upon learning and away from such distractions as fashion competition, according to Principal Andrew Polachek. So now we've got evidence to back up that rebuttal, and we've disproved the argument in the counterargument. All right, so before you write your counterargument and rebuttal, you need to look for some starters, ways that you can introduce this. So some examples of those for a counterargument could be, some will say that your thesis is not true because, some people may say that, some will argue, those on the other side of the issue may say that. So here we're making a very general statement about people that are on the other side of our issue, with saying like some or those. We're not being very specific. We're just introducing an opposing viewpoint to ours. Now, to start your rebuttal, you always want to look for those transition words like but, yet, however, nonetheless, still. And then some examples could be, that is not the case as we see, and you bring up your new evidence. However, that point is not important because, or on the other hand. So these are very generic sentence starters. You can always be creative with ways that you begin your counterargument or your rebuttal. And you're going to be adding this to your argumentative essay. Always make sure to come back to this video if you need to refresh your memory on how to write a counterargument or rebuttal. And good luck on including this in your paper.